Hi, I'm Rich Heffron. This is this week's Delaware State Chamber of Commerce Legislative Minute. The legislature ended its January session last Thursday. They will be out for 6 weeks for the budget break as they look at the governor's proposed budget, the Joint Finance Committee, and decide what they'd like to keep and what they'd like to change and maybe what they wouldn't like to do that the governor proposed. We'll see. Matter of fact, there's an article in today's paper, which is Monday, which will be linked to this presentation, which you can read, talk about the legislature and the process and kind of where we are on some of the issues. The governor proposed a $4.1 billion budget, transportation trust fund budget of $337.5 million, $43 million for grant and aid, and the Bond and Capital Improvements Act bond bill, $487 million. It's the budget grew about 5%, which seems to be a little high for what we're seeing as far as revenues, but obviously it's based on the revenue projections by DFAC. So we'll see if we get there. Actually, and I think Senator McDowell and some others have said it. Really, DFAC will continue. There'll be a March statement, April, May, and then June, and really the May and June numbers are the ones that they build the final budget on the legislature that they'll present to the governor to be signed. So we have a little time to see where all this ends up. One of the proposals the governor made to save money, which we've supported for quite a while, is he'd like to see the, I'm going to make sure I have my numbers here, the contribution, employee monthly contribution to the health care go from $1.98 to $19.48. Employer monthly contribution would increase from $47.64 to $127.48. And there'll be additional changes, and the reason the governor's doing this is because if the health care costs in the state keep growing the way they are, it's not sustainable in the long run. The most interesting thing he did was introduce a health savings plan, HSA. For current employees, they have a choice whether we get into HSA or not. But all new employees will go into the HSA. They will not have any other choice, and that's where the savings are. HSAs are an interesting way to pay for your health insurance. Matter of fact, for young people, it's probably a good proposition because when you put money in there, if you don't use it, it continues to grow, just like an IRA or another investment fund. So it's probably a good idea for younger people and the new employees. Outside of that, the governor, and we'll link the governor's, there's a document that they provide to the public, and we'll link it also to this presentation, which covers the governor's speech. I could go on forever talking about it. He made, it's his last year in office, his 8th year, so he kind of talks about some of the things he's done over the years with the budget. It's sort of interesting to look through there. There are a lot of things probably people don't even know about. Savings that he's implemented, and then maybe there's some things that they haven't gotten to. Also, last week the Senate finally passed a minimum wage increase. What they did is the original bill would go to $15 an hour by 2023, I believe it is, and also there'd be a COLA after that date. What they finally passed is in 4 years it would go to $10.25 with no COLA. That was the final agreement in the Senate. Still has to go to the House. I know it's going to be there's some opposition over there, but we'll see where that goes. We're not sure that this is the right time to do an increase in the minimum wage because the economy is stagnant. The national economy grew at about just over 2% in the third quarter. Last quarter it grew less than 1%. And Delaware similar, so we think maybe we ought to wait before we increase the minimum wage. But that'll be determined by the legislature as we move forward. Also, the next few months we'll keep an eye on the budget. We'll let you know how the talks are going with the Joint Finance Committee. Matter of fact, we're going down there in 2 weeks to testify in favor of the budget proposal for the University of Delaware. We think all of our schools of higher education, we need to make a major investment there to train people for the jobs of the future, also which will attract employers to Delaware and cause employers here to hopefully expand their business in Delaware. Anyway, that's it for this week's Delaware State Chamber of Commerce Legislative Minute. Thank you for watching.